What is the message that the Democratic Party is trying to sell to the country right now?
Well, I think the common themes that you outlined, Tucker, are one, they say these things that aren't true, whether it's Michelle Obama talking about black lives being indiscriminately, almost daily, killed on the street, or Andrew Cuomo with the worst record about the virus and then bragging as if it was the best, because there is no media as we used to know it. NBC, ABC, the network news, CNN, MSNBC, PBS, NPR, they're fused with the progressive movement in general and the Democratic Party in particular. So when he says this, he knows nobody's going to challenge him, so that only emboldens him. The second theme was all of these people have one thing in common, Tucker. They're never subject to the consequences of their ideology. It's easy for Bernie Sanders to say he's for no bail because he has 3 homes. They're not going to. People aren't going to show up, criminals, hijack him when he walks out of his lakeside estate. And Michelle Obama knows that there were over 100 people killed in 1 month alone in her hometown in Chicago. They weren't killed by white people. They weren't killed by the police. There's been over 400. She knows that. She knows, as you said, there were 9 killed last year by the police and 8 African Americans perhaps this year. She knows what the real problem is, but she also knows that she could go to Chicago with Barack. She doesn't like politics, meet with community leaders and say, we have a crisis in Chicago in general and among the African American community. She doesn't like politics. It'd be a wonderful thing to do to stop that, what's really an urban genocide. But, you know, it's very easy to say something from your Washington or Martha Vineyard estate, $20 million of estate and mansions, because you're never going to be subject to the ramifications. Black Lives Matter is not going to show up outside of her mansion, and there's not going to be an inner city shooting match right outside Martha's Vineyard. So these all become abstractions that you come on and say you really don't want to do this. And finally, when I'm getting back to the media, when she says we go high when they go low, she's talking right now when her husband's administration has weaponized the IRS, the FBI, the DOJ, the CIA, and is the subject of a massive investigation by a federal attorney. And it would probably end up, if things happen as many predict, as one of the most corrupt administrations that tried to destroy a political campaign, a presidential transition, and a presidency. And she's saying that they go low and she goes high. And again, she can say all of that because of the clips that you played. Those clips you played were not from journalists, Tucker. They were from activists that say they're journalists, but they're really part of the progressive agenda and movement.
It's completely distressing. I don't think I've heard it as nicely summed up as that. Professor, I appreciate your coming on tonight. Thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.